Hello and welcome to Critical Success. My name's Adam, and today I'm coming to you with a player tip. We're going to be talking about dynamic characters in tabletop role-playing games. So maybe this has happened to you before. You spent hours creating your character, thinking about their backstory, making sure that they have a fun and unique personality, and you're excited to bring them to the table. First session comes, and your character is awesome. Everything they do feels like it has real motivation behind it. Their personality is unique. All of their interactions with the NPCs and the other players are funny and exciting, and you can't wait to play them more. Fast forward a few sessions, and it starts to get kind of old. Your character feels like they're always doing the same old thing. They're always after the same goals and aspirations, and you get a little bit bored of playing them. Fast forward a few more sessions and suddenly you've thought of new characters in your head and you can't wait for an opportunity to play a new campaign, to play a new character. And you wonder how you got here. When you first started, your character was awesome. They were your favorite character you had ever played. And suddenly it's 5 or 6 weeks later and they're already boring. This is a consequence of having a static character. But this doesn't have to be the case. See, in the world of novels, TV shows, and movies, it is considered extremely important that the characters are written to be dynamic, that the world around them, the events that are happening, and the choices they make all affect them in some way, make them feel like they're growing and learning, whether that be good or bad. But how exactly do you do this for yourself? It's not so easy to understand how a character is going to change and grow over the course of something so large as a campaign in a role-playing game. One simple and easy way to do this is by examining moments. Try this exercise. Next time you walk away from a session, think about one specific moment within that game, one thing that was said to your character, one event that happened, and spend a few hours just thinking about, realistically, in what way that could have altered them. And it doesn't have to be large, in fact it should be small. If you come to the table with a character that acts and feels completely different than they did the week before, it's not going to feel very realistic. It's just going to feel like your character is a jumbled mess of emotions. So let's take one example. Let's say we're playing a character named Lars, and Lars was a knight. He was raised in a noble family and spent his entire young life training to become a member of the king's cavalry, which he did, and now he's off on his own adventuring with grand hopes of becoming a legendary hero and making a name for himself. Lars is confident and proud, set in his ways, and sure that he is on the side of justice and good, and that he must always come out on top. During one session, he faces a particularly dangerous combat. Even with the help of his party members, he falls unconscious, maybe multiple times, and comes within an inch of his life. This type of near-death experience can really change the way a person carries themselves. Of course, having been so sure of himself and set in his ways for his entire life, it's not likely that Lars's personality will be entirely altered. But it would be more realistic to come back to the table next week with a character who's just slightly more cautious and realizes the extent to which they're putting themselves in danger every single day fighting for their cause. The following session, maybe there is a betrayal, even a small one, by an NPC or PC who's in some way related to their cause. Well, now coming off the heels of an event that has already made the character act more cautious in situations of physical danger, suddenly they have a reason to be more cautious in social situations as well. Slowly, Lars is beginning to realize that the world around him might not be so cut and dry as he once believed it to be. Fast forward a few more sessions, and maybe you're coming to a climax in this arc of your adventure. Let's say there's some plot twist relating to your main goal. Maybe the big bad, as it turns out, is only attempting to drain the life force from your world because the world that he comes from is slowly withering away and dying, and this is the only way that he knows how to save his people. If the people of your world are saved, then those of his world die, and vice versa. Now suddenly, everything that he knew about the world, that there is good and there is evil and that he is always on the side of good, suddenly comes crashing down. How does Lars react in this moral dilemma? Does he continue on in the face of this new information? How does this affect his mental well-being? All of this is up to you and can dramatically shift the feeling of your game. This, of course, can go the other way as well. Let's say you're playing a character who grew up in a small, poor village. She lived her entire life having absolutely nothing. She ventures out in hopes of finding some way of supporting her family, and manages to greatly surpass her expectations. Not only has she sent enough money back to her family for them to live lavishly for years to come, but she suddenly is famous throughout the continent for her heroic acts of slaying great beasts and saving countless people from danger. How does this sudden shift in lifestyle affect her? Does she become a gambling addict, never content with the money that she's earned? Does the feeling of adoration and renown overcome her, causing her to constantly risk her life in search of a greater and more powerful foe to defeat, always chasing the high of feeling heroic? Or does she remember her past and become humble, returning to her village to reinvigorate the economy and help them all grow and prosper? The choice is yours, but either way will have real consequences to your story and will make your character feel that much more real and that much more fun to play. Well, that's going to be all for today. I hope that this video helps you to create more real and believable feeling characters. If you liked the video, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments what other topics you'd like me to talk about. Thank you so much for watching. Now go play.